we are going to be, by August, hopefully 2nd, we're going to be almost fully back to normal out here. So we're working. I think we're moving in. I think we're moving in today and tomorrow into the new wellness area. So I'm excited about that.
So before we open up the questions, we'll let Coach start with an opening statement. Coach, when you're ready, take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, congratulations to the winners today. Well deserved. And again, hopefully we don't see any of those on eBay anytime soon. But excited to get going. I mean, hopefully y'all are as well. And I know there's been a lot of talk about football. Now it's time to actually get to the doing. And so that's our favorite part is getting back with the team. Our guys have had a great summer. This is a team with veteran experience, veteran leadership. Really pleased with the summer that we've had and how they've worked. Excited to head up to Charlotte a little bit later tonight with some of our guys and spend a little time with them. But it's been a great summer. It really has. And I know a lot of people say that, but these guys have done a great job. It's been a very focused group, and it was that way all spring. And again, I think that's a credit to just the veteran leadership that we have. So ready to get going. We've got a team meeting here in a little while, we're at that stage of summer where we're getting in our segment meetings. We're getting on the field with them a little bit, taking advantage of some of the walkthrough opportunity that we can have. And we'll start up August 3rd as far as just kind of administrative type stuff that we have to get done, programmatically, and then first day of practice will be the 5th. We've got a good camp schedule. I like how I love the fact that we got 2 extra days, because really those 2 extra days gives you a chance to give them a little more time off. You got 2 extra days, but it's still the same. You get 25 practices, but they gave us 31 days, so that allows us to pace it out a little bit. And we're going to play on Labor Day night, so that's a little different for us too. But we're just excited to get going and start this new journey, with this 22 team.
The new rules allowing you to do the walkthrough. What will you be able to do in those walkthroughs? How much time do you have?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could take, technically you can have up to 2 hours of segments and up to 2 hours of walkthrough if you wanted, but all of that has to come out of your 8 hours of strength and conditioning. So, there's a give and take there. But, for us, we really, we're in a good training phase, the conditioning aspect of it. This is that time where we're really trying to make sure they're ready for the heat and, from a conditioning standpoint. But we'll break it up. We'll take about an hour and a half each week, and some of that'll be meeting time, some of that'll be on the field, and then when we're actually on the field, and then these guys, we've always had skills and drills around here, what we call skills and drills, and that's still going on. That's player led. These guys where they can actually do some competitive work, some one-on-one, some OLDL, pass rush type stuff. 7-on-7, 11-on-11 simulation, whether it be just jog through on the plays and installation. But we can't be out there for that. Right. So when we're on the field with them, it's truly just instructional, individual. You can line up with 11 people, but you can't have anybody across from them. You can't have any type of, simulation of going against another person. So, but that's fine. I mean, listen, we're just excited that we can actually get on the field and teach. We can still install things on air, and we can still get a lot of individual stuff done and taught, especially for some of the young guys that haven't necessarily been through a practice yet and don't really know a lot of our terminology or how we teach drills and fundamentals. So it's a good opportunity for us to get them up ahead of pace from where we normally would be starting next week or a couple weeks.
Coach, no transfers for you since the spring, which is pretty rare in this day and age, especially a program like yours. How pleasing was that for you?
Yeah, again, I think that just says a lot about our team and where they are and how much they value Clemson and what they think about their opportunity and their experience here. I think that of the Power 65, there were only 4 teams that did not have anybody leave, before, right during spring and after spring. So we had 109 guys go through spring, and they're all still here. So most years there's somebody, either just before practice or during practice or exit meetings after practice, you have somebody that may leave, whether it be a graduate or whatever. But I think this is the one thing that I love about this team, and I think that particularly speaks to it, is this team is very self-aware. This is a team, a lot of times when you have these exit meetings, and 109 meetings is a lot coming out of spring, and sometimes, there's been very few years where you go through your whole roster, every now and then you'll have a meeting where you'll have to take a deep breath because it's about to be a tough meeting, or you have a meeting and you're not on the same page. And I didn't have any of that this year. There wasn't a single meeting where, I had to kind of get myself mentally ready, and there wasn't a single meeting where we weren't on the same page. And I love that about this team. Self-awareness is it's not always there with young people, especially the type of talented guys that we have, because this is very much a developmental game, and it's a long-term process. It's a long-term development. It doesn't always happen when you want it to in the short term. So, but I think that says a lot about this group. Again, how focused they are, what they think about Clemson, what they think about their coaches, and their overall experience here.
Speaking of development, I was wondering, can you describe what kind of steps DJ has taken forward over the past couple months?
Yeah, well, he just, first of all, gotten healthy. He's gotten his finger healthy. He's gotten his knee healthy, fortified that. He's finally out of the brace. And then, he's never been, he was in good shape last year, and physically not in a bad spot, but he was good, and now he's become elite from a nutrition standpoint, a body composition standpoint, just really taking care of his greatest asset, which is his body, and he's just done it at an unbelievable level. So he's changed the composition. When you look at him, you'll be like, wow. He looks great. He's stronger. He's faster. He's probably 25 to 30 pounds different, and just feels great. And then I think also just mentally, he's just a different person than he was this time last year because of what he's been through. He went through a lot. Obviously, we had a lot of challenges around him, and in a kind of a perfect storm type of a year from an injury standpoint offensively, and he kind of lost his confidence, and he didn't play as well at times as he needed to. And again, not a lot of continuity around him to go with it, but watching him go through that and never make an excuse, never point a finger, I think it just fortified him as an unbelievable leader on this team. He's incredibly respected. He is as committed and as hard a worker as we have on this team. And that's the other thing I like about this team. This team, the best players are our most committed guys and our hardest workers. And that's not always the case on teams. But this team, I can honestly tell you that. Our best players are our hardest workers. They're our most committed guys. They're our best leaders. And put DJ in that category. So I'm really proud of him. And then he's worked really hard on just the fundamentals and getting back to the basics and the foundational aspects of playing quarterback, really learning from everything last year on what he could do better, and then applying that through spring and into this summer. So he's ready to go. Now he's just got to go do it, and certainly we all know we can do it. But I just love how he finished last year, and I thought how he finished carried him into the off season. Because he again went through a lot. I think he came through the other side of it, and really developed the type of toughness mentally that you have to be a great quarterback at this level.
Dabo, how is the vibe of this team different, knowing that you're not defending the ACC title the way you had the past 6 years? Is there a different edge to this group? Is it maybe easier in your mind to get them motivated, so to speak, because they're not
Yeah, I
resting
don't
on their
think
laurels?
so. We didn't win the league 7 years in a row. We're not entitled to win the league, but I've never really measured teams by that. You know, I've had championship teams that weren't as committed, weren't as focused as that team last year. You know, they won a championship, but I measure teams differently than maybe the outside people do. This team is like a lot of the teams that we've had. They've got, their staff's done a great job. You know, I think the biggest thing I would say about this group, because we haven't had, there's really no, I mean, there's nobody on our team, you know, that's really had what I would call football adversity. You know, from a team standpoint, we've had individuals with some challenges, but true football adversity, we've had disappointment. You know, but I don't call losing a national championship or a playoff game, it's not adversity. Yeah, that's disappointing. But I wouldn't call that football adversity. You know, football adversity is, you know, what we dealt with last year. You know, and sit there and you're 4-3, and you got a lot of challenges. I mean, there's a lot of things, and how you going to respond. And so I think the biggest thing for this team coming out of last year is probably just a reset on what it takes to win, and more importantly, not necessarily what it takes to win, but an appreciation for what it takes to win and how hard it is to win, and just winning in general. I said this, y'all. I think that Cheez-It Bowl locker room, that was as good a locker room as I've ever been in. You know, and I love that. You know, just really respect for winning and respect for what it takes. And again, you know, not many guys on this team that have really experienced anything other than, as you alluded to, you know, winning championships. And so, you know, maybe just a different perspective as they go into the season, as far as, you know, how we've approached it, how they've worked, whether it's easy or not. I don't really think so. I think every team has its own personality. This group they have incredible leadership, you know, and a lot of veteran experience. A lot of guys that have been a part of a bunch of championships, and now they've got a little different perspective to go with it. And I think that has, you know, given them good leadership opportunities through the spring and the summer.
Yeah, what Thomas also was saying is you told the staff the more chaos there is, the better it is for Clemson as far as the college football. Can you just elaborate some on that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I kind of alluded to that in the recruiting process, you know, in that, you know, I think a lot of people, there's a lot of narratives out there. A lot of people forget that we've had 12 top 15 recruiting classes in a row, and we've never really had a number one class, but we've won a lot of games, and we're second in draft picks since I've been a head coach, and second in first round picks. So even though we've never really had a number one class, we've developed very well, and you know, we've won at a really high level around here. But what we've experienced, you know, because obviously things have been very crazy in this world, you know, with all the different changes in college football, and you know, the more chaotic it's got, the better it's been for Clemson. And we have, just because of the foundation that we have here, because of the, you know, who we are, you know, because of all the processes we have in place, the people that we have in place, you know, but more importantly, again, the established culture that we have. You know, there's not many people or places out there that have that, and I think, you know, the more chaotic it's gotten, the more attractive we've become to the people that really value what we offer, and that is a true holistic approach to, you know, developing as a man, not just as a football player, and the long-term value of education, relationship, and you know, all that comes with that. So that's really, you know, I think what we're talking about there.
Talking to the assistant coaches, it sounds like everyone, well, maybe outside of Randall, a lot healthier than in the spring.
Oh man, yes.
you know his timeline? Could he come back?
No, I mean, we don't have like, okay, you start August 31st or something like that. It's really just kind of up to him and the doctors. I mean, all I can tell you is, that when you have injuries like that, the doctors have, I mean, this is what they do, and they have, I don't know what the word is, maybe it's metrics, or not metrics, but benchmarks. There we go. They have benchmarks, that you should be at certain times of your rehabilitation, and he's way above every benchmark. To use Pat Richards' word, he's a freak. That's exactly what he said. So he looks great. He's doing awesome. But when he's ready, he's ready. It's not like he's a senior and feel like he's gonna miss games. With Amari, when he was coming, y'all remember Amari. I honestly, I wasn't very comfortable with Amari getting back out there, but Amari was going to fight somebody if we didn't let him play, and because he was above everything, but he was. Y'all remember? I mean, he was amazing. Had an awesome year, and coming back, and then follow that up with a great senior year. But Adam's just getting going, and we'll just kind of go with what the doctors say. But all I can tell you is he's awesome. He's doing great. He's going to have a great freshman year. When he plays, I don't know, but I do know he'll play at some point. Is that first game, 10th game? I don't know. We'll see when that is. But I do know he's going to have a heck of a freshman year and a great career for us. Everybody else is in a good spot. I mean, we were a mass unit, and I don't know. Again, I've never really been through anything like it in all my years here. So, hopefully that's a bad year injury-wise behind us. You're always going to deal with things from time to time, but the totality of what we dealt with was a perfect storm last year. And so the guys have done great. We had a great spring. I mean, with a lot of guys with postseason surgeries, but we expect everybody to be in camp and ready to go. And Adam will be in camp and in the meetings, but he'll be at a little different, progression than everybody else.
Coach Christian was telling me this morning that Adam was really a natural when it came to returning punts. Didn't really hear about that much last spring, but is that what you saw as well? He's just a natural? He's
just a natural football player. I mean, you do whatever you want to. You put him in kickoff, you put him in punt. He handles the ball well. I mean, he's natural receiver. He's natural with his release technique. He's natural with his break points. He's natural with his change of direction. High pointing balls, collision balance. It really comes naturally. So that's why he was such a highly regarded player coming out of high school. People see that. But yeah, he doesn't struggle, really with anything.
Coach Eason said that Coach Goodwin reminds him of Dick LeBeau. I was wondering, from your perspective, what is it about Coach Goodwin that is so special, worth of that kind of high praise?
Well, I mean, I've been he's been with me since the day I got this job. Literally, when I hired Woody, I brought him here with Coach McCorvey from Mississippi State to be a GA. And, when you work with people and you get to know them, hopefully that's if I've done anything well in my career, it's identifying people. I've always said I'm going to hire people first. I try to recruit people first, because I think you win and lose with people. And certainly got to have the aptitude to do what needs to be done. But man, Wes is the guy that I have watched literally from day one, and we always say bloom where you're planted, truly bloom where he's planted. And he's been amazing, from the day he got here, working with Kevin Steele, to transitioning to Brent, to going to the NFL, to coming back, to now running it. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can't give Wes enough. I mean, he's just got a high aptitude for the game, a really unbelievable, second to none work ethic. I mean, there's been times over the years where you take something to Wes or you need something done, and you can't even get down the hall, and he's already, he's walking down there to give it to you. He's one of the most prepared people that I've ever worked with, and so again, this is my livelihood. This is what I do. I mean, these aren't decisions that you just flip a coin on. I mean, these are. I got a lot of people that count on me to make decisions because it impacts a lot of people. But it was an easy decision to hire Wes Goodwin because he earned it, he deserved it, and he's demonstrated he was ready for it. And that's not just what I've seen last year, the year before. This goes all the way back to when I first met him at the end of '08. So just an excellent teacher, and again, just really understands offense. He understands all aspects of defense. He understands how it's all tied together, and just does a great job relating to the kids. I mean, these guys love it, and going back to when I hired him, when y'all were all mad at me because I wouldn't, comment on anything. I wasn't going to talk to anybody until I talked to the team, and that was probably one of the coolest things was letting all the defensive guys know, what our plan was, and their excitement, because you best believe the players know. And like I said, we had 109 guys go through spring. We got a lot of high-profile dudes, and they're all still here. So it's really the only endorsement you need to know about Wes Goodwin and what these guys think about him. So, but he's got to go do it. I mean, it's easy to sit here and say that now. I mean, he's got to go do it. He'll have some good days and bad days because he's a coach. That's just the way it goes. But over the long term, man, he's going to be a great one for sure.
You told us at the end of spring that the summer would be so critical for both DJ, that they both put in the required work.
Yeah, I think all those guys have. And in fact, I was talking to some of our guys the other day. We just chit-chatting a little bit at dinner, and we've never had a quarterback room like this. I mean, I've never gone into a fall camp with a quarterback room like we have on this team. I mean, I'm super excited about it because, man, DJ and where he is and what he's done and how he's worked, I mean, it's amazing. He's been awesome this summer. Again, just, the comments from his teammates. And then Cade, man, Cade is, as I told y'all in the spring, he's everything you could hope he would be and more. But now he's 195 pounds. He was 179 when he got here in January. And when you see him, just like when you see DJ, you see complete transformation. And so, the fact that he's gone through spring and now he's gone through all the summer, he's getting all the installation again then. I'm just really excited about where he is. And then getting Hunter Johnson here. And I can't tell you how many comments I've had from our players on Hunter Johnson. The type of leader he is, his skill, and people forget this dude, he's a heck of a player. He's had a lot of ups and downs, but he's a 6-year veteran who's been through a lot. And what he brings to that room, especially for DJ and Cade, is, man, that you don't have that in many quarterback rooms, to have that level of talent and readiness available. And then, Billy Wiles, Hunter Helms, and Trent Pierman coming in here. I mean, we've just got a really good group of functional quarterbacks that we really haven't had like that. So I'm excited about the room, and but in particular those two guys, man, they've done everything they need to do to come in the best version of them. And that's really what we challenge all these guys is, when you come back in August, everybody needs to be the best you've ever been. And they're all at different stages developmentally, but if everybody will come back the best version of you that you've been to this point since you've been at Clemson, whether you got here last January, whether you got here in June, now it's August, or whether you're going into year 6 like Luke Price, all right? If you'll be the best guy, the best version of you that we've seen, then we're going to be better, and our team's going to be better. So those two guys have certainly done just that.
Coach, you mentioned Hunter Helms. I think he was the only non-starter at the Manning Passing Academy a few weeks ago. What does that say about the type of person and player he is?
Oh, Hunter's incredibly well respected. He's a great kid. He's a great teammate. He's an excellent leader. He works at his craft, and he's detailed in what he does. And really happy that he got a chance to have that experience.
Yeah, but with the TV numbers for the SEC, the Big Ten, about to go up a lot, are you concerned at all about the future of the ACC and how that's going to go?
I think it's a bigger question than just the ACC. I think the biggest thing, and I'm not concerned at all. I think I'm just kind of like everybody else, just kind of, well, where are we going to be in 2 years or 5 years? Because, as I've said a couple times, I think most people know where college football is heading. It's just a matter of when. Is it next week? Is it 5 years from now? Is it 3 years from now? I don't really know, but I think most people could probably, that are really a part of this game, can agree that, ultimately there's going to be a restructuring of college football. There's going to be a new governance structure at some point. I don't think there's any doubt of that. And where we are right now, it's kind of like, we kind of rounded second base and there's a line drive and everybody's kind of holding halfway to see if it got through, right? And, we'll either get on home or go back to second and go from there. So I'm not really concerned about really any of it because my focus is beating Georgia Tech Labor Day night. I'm really not distracted by any of that, and I know there's a lot of conversation, and I get that, and everybody. I mean, those decisions, all that stuff is made by. It's not made by coaches. All that stuff's made by the presidents and commissioners and all that. And there's a lot of smart people out there. I do know this. I'm thankful that we got a guy like Jim Clements and Graham. I mean, these are two very, very, good leaders and good people that are incredibly plugged into all things college football. But it's just it just is what it is. I mean, it's a time of change and transition in the game of college football in a lot of areas. But at the end of the day, again, I'm just getting ready for Labor Day night. That's my focus because that's what we control. We don't control any of that other stuff. And just continue to be Clemson. And no matter what, I can tell you this: no matter what happens, whether we're the ACC goes to 52 teams or we move to the new Megatron World Conference, I don't really know, but people have never come to Clemson because of the league. Honestly, people come to Clemson because we're Clemson. I spent 13 years at Alabama, and I never recruited anybody at Alabama that came because we were in the SEC. They came because we were Alabama, and they've come to Clemson in my 19 years, going on 20, because we're Clemson. Christian Wilkins didn't come here because we play in the ACC. Christian Wilkins came here because we're Clemson, and that's who we are. And regardless of what happens in college football, we're Clemson. And I know it's fun to talk about, and there's probably uneasiness out there from time to time. There's a lot of business aspects. There's a lot of different things and moving parts. But, man, I got one focus, and that is trying to beat Georgia Tech and win the opener. That's our first goal.
Is there a timeline you think that something needs to happen by? Or you...
No, I don't. Again, I have no info on any of that type of stuff.
Is there a part of you that, the football fan in you that was maybe a little sad to see UCLA and USC kind of break away and not have those?
I'm not sad about UCLA and USC because I didn't really grow up. I'm sure there's a lot of people sad on the West Coast, but I've grown up in the Southeast region, so I think I do love tradition, and I do love natural rivalries and things like that, and this will where college football is going to change a lot of that. So that part of it is sad, but it is what it is, and let's see who we're playing, and let's go play.
Yeah, but the official visit change that you made in the spring, you kind of go into that decision to allow the summer official visits on top of the fall movement.
Well, we did one visit. You can do visits all of April, all of May, and all of June. The only change we made is we made the elite retreat into just an official. And the only reason we did that is because all the kids had already been here. So we didn't bring anybody in here. Well, I take that back. We brought 31 kids in. We only brought one guy in here who hadn't been to Clemson. So 30 of those guys have been here multiple times, been here games, they've been to camps, they've been to junior days, they've been here, to spring practice, and been here many times. The one kid that we brought in that had not been here, we knew what the result was going to be, and we knew why he hadn't been here yet. So, but that was kind of our deal. We weren't going to bring anybody in that had not been here. But a lot of these guys wanted to go ahead and make a decision, and so really the only change was instead of it being the elite retreat, and the difference is, if you go back through COVID, nobody could get out to campus. That was a big difference. We went a long while where nobody could come in. All of this class have had multiple opportunities to come. So that was a little change, and again, you can do visits all of April and all of May and all of June, but we've just chosen not to do that, and we've really taken the same approach. We really hadn't changed anything. We've taken the same approach, and continue to promote the things that make Clemson Clemson, and find the kids that fit what and value the same things that we offer here. But that weekend was awesome for us, and really we're kind of, by September we're going to be about where if you go back the last 8 years, we're exactly where we've always been from a class percentage. As far as some classes are bigger than others, but the percentage of guys that are of your class that are coming already committed, and so I don't see any difference there. But our approach has been the same, and we got a great recruiting class that's coming together. And most of these guys, the other big driving force is the transfer portal, as one of the reasons too that we made that one weekend an official, because a lot of these kids want to be mid-years now. Because what's going on in the high school world is a lot of high school kids aren't getting offered. You got a lot of kids. The transfer portal has really impacted high school recruiting in a negative way, and a lot of kids are trying to be mid-years now to compete with the portal. So hasn't been a situation here, but a lot of schools are going to take the portal kid over a high school kid that can't come till the summer. So a lot of these kids have ramped everything up, which I don't like. I'm always trying to slow the process down, but I think that's driving a lot of some of the early commits too. But for us, it's really kind of the same. Last year we were pretty much done with our class last year. Now we had some decommits at the very end of the deal, but if you go back to pre-COVID, we're right on pace with where we've always been.
Coach, regarding the transfer portal, I imagine a lot of these recruits in the back of their minds these days are probably, they're on the fence between two or three schools. They're telling themselves, "Oh, I can just transfer my sophomore year, junior year if I decide I don't like it." Are you addressing that with these recruits? The fact that you've only taken one transfer in, and that's Hunter Johnson, a former player. Can you talk about that with them?
Oh yeah, well, I think that's just a philosophy, and again, we're going to always, until we can't. If we can't get the best high school kids anymore, then we'll have to adjust. But we can recruit with anybody. This is a special place, and again, it's not about a league we're in. It's not about NIL. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about Clemson. And it's about who we are as a program. So, if some of these places they don't get the best high school kids. So they got to do what's best for their program, and we certainly would do the same. But we haven't been in that situation yet. We'll address. We tried to get a portal OL this year. We tried, and there was really only two guys that really fit everything we were looking for, and we didn't get either one of them. That's the life of recruiting. You know, we're not just going to take a guy to take a guy. But you know, I definitely think that that's going on in other schools as far as people taking portal kids over the high school kids. But for us, we're developmental, and we're going to continue to be that. And I think that's one of the reasons you see a lot of guys staying here, is they know that this is a developmental program. Now, if a freshman beats out a senior, then hey, it just is what it is, right? But I know this: if all your freshmen are coming in and beating out your seniors every year, well, something isn't right. I know everybody wants the signees to come in and win every job, but what about them guys that you cheered for last year? To come to Clemson. So it's a developmental game. It's a developmental program. That's how we've always won. That's how we'll continue to win. And if from time to time, if there's a certain fit or need that we have to address because of, again, a gap, we'll do that. We just haven't been in that situation, thankfully, and hopefully we don't. But we'll see. Anything can happen.
There's always been a revenue gap between the ACC and the other conferences, and just like a decade ago, it sort of stood on the table and said, I feel confident that we can still, this is sustainable, because we're not comparing wallets at midfield with Ohio State or whatever, but looking at the forecasted discrepancy, like $50 million is what they're forecasting. Is that sustainable in your mind? That sort of
Yeah, I think, again, if you go back and look at, Clemson 2009, 2010, 2013 when we beat Ohio State, there's probably a pretty big gap there too. So to me, there's certainly business aspects, and that's what ADs and presidents and commissioners are for. But if it was all about walking out and comparing your checkbooks, we wouldn't win half the games we've won. We've won with people, and we've won with belief, we've won with evaluation, discipline, accountability, and development. And you can't put a price on those things. So, yeah, there's definitely things that are going to happen in college football that have already happened, or continue to happen as we move through the next few years. That'll be that's stuff that the higher ups have to deal with. Again, for me, my focus is on we have everything we need here at Clemson. From a Clemson football standpoint, we're incredibly blessed, and I think we've proven we can compete with anybody, regardless of how many alumni they got or what their checkbook looks like. So we'll all that stuff will work itself out throughout the years, just like it always has. But, certainly, valid question.
Do you think that profile and achievements that y'all have achieved over the last decade means that whatever happens, however this thing shakes out, y'all are going to be in a good spot and at the right position you need to be sort of aligned?
This is Clemson. This is Clemson, and 10 years from now, this will be Clemson. 20 years from now, this will be Clemson. Long after I'm gone from here, this is Clemson. That I know. People have come, and people are coming and have come from all over the country to come to Clemson. And this is a special place. This is one of those very, very, few special places in the country that is passionate about football. Like I said earlier, regardless of what happens in the landscape of college football, when it's all said and done, next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, Clemson's going to be Clemson.
You alluded to the center position a minute ago. In the spring game, Linthicum, I think, started at center over Putnam. Where are you exactly as you're getting ready to head into August? Where are you at the center position, and do you know exactly how many games Trotter will miss?
Linthicum started over Putnam.
I believe so.
I think so.
Did he not?
No. They probably started on two teams.
Right. On his team he started.
Well, that's because Putnam was on the other team.
Okay, I thought
It was
he
two
was on-
teams.
I thought he was on this. I'm not beg your pardon.
No.
Where are you exactly there in Trotter? Do you know how many games that he just?
I don't yet on Trotter where he's at, but Putnam's definitely our starter. No question about that. I mean, he had a great spring, did a heck of a job. Linthicum has really improved. He and Tristan Lee, those were two really good high school players, and you just people look at recruiting stuff and you think you're supposed to just show up and it happens, and people forget. Man, both of those guys didn't have high school senior seasons, so they didn't play any football, for a year, and then they show up at Clemson. Linthicum came in January. Tristan didn't get here till the summer, and man, they're way behind. And but both of them have put the work in, and man, they're just in a totally different place, from where they need to be. And we don't need them to be starters. We need them to be ready, and we need them to be able to compete and be ready to go be a starter. That's what we need from them, and I think both of those guys have really progressed in that direction. And then same thing with Trent Howe. I mean, he's a good little player, man, and he's one of those guys that same thing, missed basically a whole year with COVID and mono, and all kind of things, and then had to build himself back. He's a very functional guy as well. So Linthicum, Trent, and Putnam, all those guys can play center and guard. So we like that group right there, and then we'll see if we can add somebody in there. But yeah, there's no question on who the starter is. Putnam was a pleasant, not surprise, I shouldn't say surprise, because it's kind of an expectation with him, because that's kind of who he is. But certainly good confirmation in the spring of what we thought we'd see out of him.
Yeah, but with Thomas, Austin, and Nick Easton, what do you feel like has held them so much on the recruiting trail? They've been around the game a long time. It's not their first rodeo. I mean, Thomas, both of them are Clemson guys, first of all. They're Clemson men. They played here. Thomas played for me, a captain for me. Nick was here before I got here, but man, he's passionate about Clemson, and it's easy to sell something that you love and that you're passionate about. It's not an effort. So I think they truly believe in, the people they're with and where they are, the place. So I think it starts there. They're both great communicators. They're both, great relationship people, and both got great sense of humor and all those type of things. And they love what they do. So just great fits, for us. And then Nick, same thing. Most of his time's been in the NFL, but getting a little bit of college experience. The first time Nick Easton has been on the road was, this might have been his first May recruiting ever. I think it was, even though he's been out recruiting and stuff, but a true May recruiting, because he's not been in college football very long, and then this was COVID, so for a couple of years there. So, but he's Nick. You spend any time with Nick, it's easy to see, just a good person, and he's genuine, and so is Thomas. They're genuine, they're authentic, and again, they love where they are and who they're with, and then they have a lot to sell at a place like Clemson, so good track records.
Coach, what has it been like working with Streeter in his new role as the OC? How has that relationship evolved since he's taken this new role?
Oh, it's been fun. I'm proud of Street. He's another guy. Again, I've got a lot of confidence in. I've known for a long time. Talking about Wes earlier. Streeter was a GA. When I first came in here, he was one of our offensive grad assistants. So I got to know him starting in 2003, 4. And then followed him all throughout his career, and he was one of those guys I always stayed in touch with, and he always stayed in touch with me. And when he was coming through, would always stop by, and he loves Clemson. Streeter's had a bunch of opportunities to leave here,
both NFL and coordinators at big schools, SEC schools, other ACC schools. But man, he's stayed right here, and he's been patient for his opportunity. He's been a huge part of our success since 2015. It's been fun to see him kind of move into the run the room seat, and he's done a great job with that.
Mickey said that on all three levels, this might be as fast as defenses he's had since he's been here. Does this compare speed-wise to some of the other groups you've had at all three levels?
Yeah, no question. I mean, we've got, I think this group has elite talent, and I think we've got great depth and athleticism, but I do think we're a fast group. I mean, we've got guys up front that can really run. This is probably the fastest group of linebackers that maybe we've had in a while. I mean, it's a really fast group, and then we got corners that can run. All those safeties can cover some ground. So, yeah, I mean, we have to line them all up and test it out to say, really compare them. But just on paper, speed and athleticism, this is certainly an elite group just in those two aspects. But the functionality, the football IQs, the game experience, the depth of that, I think makes this group, have a real chance to be special. I mean, they got to go do it, but on paper, this is potentially a great defense. We expect them to be a great defense.
See, with linebackers, if the knowledge of Skalski and Spector is here, where would you put the guys who are following behind them? Like just the situational awareness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those guys. Skalski was here this morning. I think he leaves tomorrow. He's still here. I came over here Sunday, literally Sunday afternoon. I had to come see the trainer, and I come walking in here Sunday afternoon, and here comes Nolan and Skalski walking out of the building. This was Sunday. And I'm like, y'all still here? And they're like, yeah, we don't leave till Wednesday. They've been right here training every day. Balin just left too. They've all been here training, and I love that. Mario's been here. Mario worked the ladies clinic. Mario, Skalski, they're all at the ladies clinic on Saturday, and I just think that's really cool. And they've been here training with our straight staff and taking full advantage of the nutrition and the food and all that stuff. But yeah, they're leaving tomorrow, heading out and getting ready for camp. But we don't have anybody that's there, but they don't have to be. They just need to be them. And it's our job as coaches, to meet our players where they are, and then we get them to where they need to be. So, but I tell you, man, Trenton has worked his butt off. Nevante, Mcguire, these guys are going into their fourth year. They've been here 3-4 years. They have a lot of knowledge. They just don't have the same amount of playing experience as Skalski, a guy like that. But certainly from a talent, they do have a lot of knowledge. And I think as they add the experience to it, it's going to be awesome. Jeremiah Trotter, he's a natural. He's been here 1 year. So he's certainly not where Skalski is from a knowledge standpoint, but he's pretty dang good. And he's got great instincts for the game. Bear Carter, same thing. We've got a really good group. Sergio has made good progress. So collectively as a group, I'm sure Wes probably told you that. I mean, this is a very functional group of backers that I think are going to do some special things. And I think you'll see us play a lot more people. Rotation. Really in any situation, regardless of score, regardless of field position, I think you'll see more guys in the game at that position, and I think that's a reflection of the confidence that Wes has in these guys, and just their overall ability and knowledge.
Will Taylor told us during baseball season, shortly after he came off rehab, that he was actually a step or two faster, according to his monitors. How much of a sigh of relief was it just to see him, come through healthy?
Yeah, it's good. He would. It's just you got to go through the process. But that's just,
again, you know, a guy like Will Taylor is going to do everything he's got to do. It's just how he's wired. So yeah, he told me the same thing. It was good to hear. It's kind of like them Tommy John surgeries, you know, can you tighten it up a little bit? Let me give me about 3 more miles per hour on that fastball.
Spencer Strider's finding that out.
Did he have Tommy John?
He did.
Did he really? Yeah. So
3 years ago.
yeah. So yeah, Will. I'm excited to get back on the field with Will. I got a chance to spend a lot of time with him during the bowl prep. We did a lot of one-on-one receiver stuff and study and drill stuff and really just technical things. You know, so I can't wait to get on the field and get back to work with him.
Yeah.
Piggybacking off this question, obviously losing a guy like Scott's huge. Is there somebody you see kind of stepping into that coach on the field role this coming season? What he was doing, at least see at best.
I mean, I think that's going to come. I mean, I think all those guys at backer are well experienced, but I think it's going to start with the guys up front. You know, we got some grown men up front that have been here a long time that I think will bring that, you know, that, and really at all 3 levels. I mean, Sheridan out there corner, he's got a ton of experience. He's been around here a while. He's a veteran guy. You know, the guys back at safety, we got a group of guys that play good football for us. We have some great young leaders, but I think we got a core group of D linemen. There's about 7 of them that I think will set that tone and really kind of, you know, lead the way.
What would be the ideal development for Dedrick Pennington? I guess is there a little bit of acclimation period he's missed?
Say that again?
For Dedrick Pennington, kind of the ideal development for him in camp.
Just get to work. I mean, he's ready. I mean, he's ready to go. There's so really just hopefully pick up beyond where he left off. I mean, he that was one of our. I mean, y'all don't know this, but you know, I mean, that was one of our big disappointments last year. I mean, this guy, I think had a chance to be a starter for us and was on his way. You know, he really gets it. He's a smart kid, and you know, goes in 2 plays later in the second game, he's out for the year. So he's done a really good job. He's in a good spot. So I think the biggest thing is just, you know, jump in there and go do it, go compete, and then go earn it. He's certainly going to have the opportunity. He looks great, but it's a big shot in the arm to get him back. And you know, and then the experience that Marcus Tate got last year, same thing. You know, when you see him, he looks amazing. He's in a completely different place mentally and physically. But as far as Dedrick, there's really no progression. I mean, he's full go.
What kind of a head coach do you think Tony Elliott will be?
Last one.
What kind of a head coach? Yeah. He's going to be outstanding. He'll be excellent. He's incredibly well prepared. You know, he and Brent, they're both very well prepared for the opportunities that they have. They're different as far as, you know, who they are, with their approach. But you know, Tony's, I think he's going to have a long, successful career and do a great job. I think he's a great fit for Virginia.
Coach, as we wrap up, were there any support staff changes, anything you wanted to update since April?
Oh man, we've had all kind of changes. We started our all-in meetings yesterday and had to stand up and everybody say your name and who you are, and where you're from, height, weight, the whole deal. It was crazy. A lot of, probably the most transition, you know, from just new people or new roles. We had a lot of people moving in different roles too. You know, a guy like Wes or Streeter or whoever, Kyle. It's probably the most we've had since 11, to be honest with you. Overall, just transition and changes. But you know, we've got a few new full-time support people. We've got Dylan Barron is a new assistant trainer coming in here. Manny Slamovitz is our new chef. He's a character, and he's coming from out in LA. Excited to get him here. He's literally just getting it going. Got a young man named Jackson Jones who's going to work as one of our graphic designers coming in that area. Brooks Cockrell Jackson came from Auburn. Brooks Cockrell also working in our creative media area. Came from Arkansas. Excited to have him here, and I think that was the 4 guys, and then C.D. Davies. C.D. Davies is I'm really excited to be able to, you know, announce him. He's going to be our NIL coordinator, and he's a guy I've known a while. He's kind of ready for kind of that next chapter, I guess, if you will. And always been a Clemson guy, but he's been a CEO of some of the biggest companies out there, and has a great business experience and aptitude, and really dealing with everything that these kids, may have to deal with. And so being able to really get him in place so that we can, meet the needs of our players, no different than hiring a chef, hiring, Alex Beana to run our science, lab, hiring a great strength and conditioning, hiring great medical people, hiring a great quarterback coach, and defensive coach, whatever, nutritionist, to be able to get the NIL coordinator in here that we need, just like Paul Journey, that was a critical hire for us. So I'm super excited about CD and his wife Jamie joining us, and he survived his first day of all-in meetings yesterday, so I was pretty proud of him. It was a long day, but I think he enjoyed it. I think that's we got some younger GAs in some different areas and things like that, and some new student workers, but full-time people. That's some of the changes that we've had since we probably got together.
Coach, everybody hang tight very briefly. Coach's Foundation has a couple partners for Priority One Security as well as WCCP. Y'all saw about $350,000 was raised at the Dabo Swing Ladies Clinic for breast cancer prevention and research. Well, this group also helped with the Tigers for Tatas campaign last October. And so they're here from WCCP. Priority One, Kathleen Sweeney's here as well. I'll move this chair. We're going to grab a quick photo.
Thank you, Coach. All right, appreciate it. Thank y'all. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready. Oh, good.
We are so excited. Oh, but I don't really want to be on the
Yeah, you go right here. You go right
I don't want to be. We're
Come on.
so grateful, y'all. This is so awesome.
How you doing?
How are you? We're so appreciative. We're so appreciative of y'all. That's for you. Doing this with us.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing. Y'all, that is so, you guys
Let's go. I didn't know the final number. I knew it was up on the number.
Y'all, we are so grateful. So grateful. That is a lot of money. And we're purchasing a second bus. And y'all are a huge part of it.
Another person down
On the
here.
CCP side.
So excited.
Where's Ben? He hiding? Oh, what's up? Hey, see you, man. How you doing?
I was just back there.
Where's
Get
Ben?
on this side as well.
Ben not getting in the picture?
Man, he's running the floor back.
Oh, okay. There's the real Jeff.
Got the real money.
Cheers. Stop taking my picture. Hey,
Y'all, we are
listen, I know y'all
all are so.
I know y'all all have different roles, and we just appreciate it. Really thank y'all for everything.
This is huge. I mean, this is huge. We want y'all to feel like y'all are a huge part of this. That's a lot of money.
Just thankful that y'all tap into listeners and just use the platform. I mean, it's amazing. We got $150,000 from Jersey Mike's. So yeah, we went down in June. Went down to Lawndale and spoke at their international corporate meeting or whatever it was. And when it was over, told me back up and said they wanted to make a donation to the foundation. I learned a lot about Jersey Mike's. First of all, they're very philanthropic. With every community that they're in, it's literally a part of a private company.